Hey, we on, man. We in progress. Hey, Brian, listen, I want to welcome you to the Cat's Corner, baby. You in my corner. You in my
Oh,
corner. That means we can talk about anything, Big Brian. And I know a lot of stuff about you, baby. I
even
know a
about,
lot of secrets. We ain't gonna go there though. But how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm out here in Gold Canyon, Arizona. I've been out here for about almost 20 years now, man, since I left
20 years.
Atlanta. But yeah, I left
Wow.
Atlanta. Yeah, I left Atlanta about '03.
So what made you decide to move that way?
I always loved it out here, man. And the weather is just, I don't have to deal with the humidity, the rain, just the climate for starters. But I just love the heat. I like I'm a heat seeker anyway, as you know, Kat. I
I
get a lot
know
of
it,
heat.
boy.
Inadvertently, I get a lot of heat, which is unfair to me. However, so this is just my natural habitat, I guess.
Boy,
What did he do? See, I mean, here he is,
He
the
just
rookie.
he just hit the wrong button, Brian.
See,
That's what I'm saying.
see, that's
We
what
did a
happens,
whole
man.
show. We did a whole show uh, about 4 days ago and never even hit record. He called me.
Oh,
I was like, I was wondering. I never heard
well, you should see
recording
the
in
red.
person.
Where's the red light, man? It should be right there.
We're recording now to where he's at, though.
Well, I guess we have to cover for him because once again, it's just like having a pro wrestling match, and he screws something up.
Exactly.
Then you and I got to make a tag and then continue the show. I
We
get
got to
it.
do a hot tag. Got to do a
Oh,
hot
yeah.
tag. I'm gonna bump and feed. You bump
There
and
you go.
feed. Bump
Yeah.
and feed.
All right, that's it. See,
So you decided in '03 to move from Atlanta to the beautiful state of Arizona because of the climate. Do you have
Yeah.
family out there, or you just picked up and went on out?
I was out here when I was married back in. I think I got divorced right before we moved. I moved out here. But my ex's family was from out here, and I spent a lot of time out here. And I just really gotten used to it, and I liked it so much. And I said, man, this is a great place to retire. And so I've been out here ever since. I mean, I say retired. I mean, just like with Kat knows. I mean, we're always doing something around the country. Not all the time, but like this year, man, I've been so busy. I mean, I've been to Europe. I've been to Colombia. Yeah, man. I mean,
you've been working your butt off this year, man. I see you out there traveling, doing TV stuff. I mean,
yeah.
You like a teenage boy who finally got the range to do anything you want to do.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
Now let me ask you this, Brian. What about your wrestling? Do you ever miss being in the ring?
Honestly, Kat, I tell you, I'd mentioned that I'd been to Colombia. I went down there for stem cell research about August, I guess, and that was just because of all the injuries that we had throughout our career, just being banged up, and I stopped counting after 10 surgeries. So I'm way past that. But I just was trying to find a way to get healthy, man. And but I don't miss the to get back to your question, I don't miss the actual ring, the matches, and the bumps and everything that goes with it. But as far as hanging out with the boys and being able to just have a great time in the locker room, absolutely, I miss that. Yeah,
Man, I was talking to one of these young guys, and he just now getting into the business, and I don't need to call his name, but
right.
one of the things he said he wanted to do, he wanted to establish himself inside the ring, and he don't have a very good body, he's not all muscled up, but
Right.
I told him,
I'm
I
right
said, man,
here,
listen,
Kat. I mean,
I
I'm
said,
right
listen
here.
here, man. I said, listen here, learn to work. Learn to work. I said, I'd use you as an example. I said, man, Brian was about 6'7", 6'8", man, and he would fly all over the ring. And that's all I heard about this guy. They said, Brian said, man, listen, WWF loved this guy. Said this guy take bumps that was incredible, man.
Yeah.
And so did you start out as a guy that wanted to fly around the ring, or did you want to be the guy that did the damage to people?
Great question. Honestly, a combination of both. I wanted to prove to myself because some of my earlier matches, like everybody else's, they were just terrible, and I was out to prove something to myself because I knew I was really athletic. I mean, going back to, we can talk about both of our athletic careers, Kat, especially with you at Savannah State, me at Central Missouri State. But when I got that break in wrestling, man, I wanted to prove that, just because I was 6'6", 290, I wanted to prove that I could fly. And I worked on it. But the aerial attack, man, I had to have that.
Bro, listen, I've been into a lot of contact sport, from wrestling, karate, boxing, basketball, but I've never saw a big guy who can fly. Really, you did, man. I'm telling you, the first time came in the ring, now picture this. I'm used to knocking guys out with my kicks.
Right.
Now here I am in the business where they tell me all you got to do is touch the guy. Just get close to the guy and he'll make you look good. Yeah. So my thing was, how good is this guy gonna make my kicks look? So the very first time we was in the ring, and I remember we went through this whole thing. You said, just kick me, then kick Kenya. Man, listen, I jumped up and just barely touched you guys, and this guy was flying all over the ring. I mean, he made me want to stop, sit down, and watch this. That's how talented. I wanted to watch it, man, because this guy, all you do is touching me. He was flying outside the ring. I mean, he had one of the best over the rope to the floor I've ever seen. It was so smooth and cool. And he was 290 pounds.
Yeah.
Think about it. He was 290 pounds. I saw Refrigerator Perry, 350. I saw him take one step and jump up and slam a basketball. And I thought that was just incredible. Just see somebody that size do that slam like that. One-handed slam, just boom. But then I can almost equal this with what you were doing, Bryan, because you were 6'6", 290, flying out the ring, staying safe, keeping everybody safe, man. I mean, how long did it take you to work to get yourself in that kind of, that kind of shape to be able to do that stuff?
Well, with me, I always felt like I was a late bloomer, so to speak. From out of high school, I went into the military, and then from the military, I played college football, and from there, then I got into pro wrestling. But to answer the question, it took me a while, man. Even though it may look, and just like with you and everyone else, as far as our ability to, take a bump, give a bump, take care of the guy, it took me a while. Really, you would think just as something as simple as running the ropes, or either, and especially later on with the aerial stuff going up top, that took me a while, but I worked on it. I mean, it just, I spent a lot of time down at the power plant with Jody and Sarge, overseeing a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, I was probably like one of the first guys before it was ever been called the power plant. That's how far it goes back with me.
But you worked in WWE. I think it might have been WWF at the time, right? Before you came there.
Sure.
So how did you make that transition from college football or whatever you did to say, okay, now I want to be a professional wrestler?
Man, I was hooked on it. Even as a kid, of course, growing up, I'm from Florida, so I got to watch a lot of Florida Championship Wrestling. And I was sort of hooked on it, but I knew that after high school, I was joined the military. So I did the military, served my time, got my honorable discharge. And then I walked on at Central Missouri and played college football. But
what position?
I was defensive tackle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And if I'm not mistaken, the cat was the linebacker at Savannah State.
Yes,
right?
yes, you're right.
How about that? See there? I got while we're talking
Florida
about
Championship, Championship Wrestling. You grew up on that. Not naming any names, baby, but who was your favorite?
Well, believe it or not, I was a big fan of I like Buddy Colt. I don't know if you remember that name. Yeah.
It's obscure. That's an obscure name.
But he always worked up in that region where I was at.
Right. He was more of what they would consider a jobber, would he not be?
No. Buddy was
Was he a champion?
Oh, yes, sir. He actually ended up, he was one of the guys that survived the plane crash, and ended up being a co-announcer with Gordon Soley.
Oh, wow. So he was in the plane crash with Flair?
I don't know if it was Flair. It may have been.
Oh, the other plane crash.
The other plane crash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See, but yeah, I always liked it, man. I enjoyed it. And then, Then I met a guy like you that come in and break my ribs when I'm trying to train him.
Hey, I didn't think you were gonna bring that up, but let me tell you my story. Then you tell me your side of the story. So this guy told me they trusted me so much. They knew I was green. So they worked with me. We went over all the drills. He was like, okay, to the point now when you get in the ring, you got to take a kick. You got to kick me in my rib and I'll let him go. Then I was like, okay, all right. He said, I'm going to give myself to you. So just take it easy.
Open him
Man,
up.
I got in the ring. I was so let me tell you something. I was so nervous, man. He had his arm up. I said, there go the spot. There it go. Here come the kick. I kicked this guy so hard that he looked at me in the middle of the run. He looked at me and said, I'm gonna kill you when I get out of here. He was cursing me out. You should have saw. I still remember that look on your face, Brian. I said, he gonna kill me because I kicked the shit out. He grabbed his ribs. I was like, oh my God.
He hit me so hard. He was all excited, man. And of course, naturally, we all are. But it was a big pay-per-view. I think it was Fall Brawl.
And this was like my second time on TV.
Yeah. He was, but man, to his credit though, man, he laid it right where I told him to do it. I told him to lay it in. And after that, I was turning around. I think you give me another big spinning kick.
I hit him with a kick, man. It was just right for him to sell. I jumped and did a jump, spinning, round kick right to his face, and he caught it with his hand and then just flipped over. Then I jumped up, hit him with a side kick, and he just flipped over the ropes, went outside the ring. Man, it was so beautiful, man. All this stuff just flying everywhere. He was flying all over the ring.
Now, was this a one-on-one match or was this a tag team?
This was a tag
with Mortis.
Me and Canyon. Yeah, me and Chris Canyon, which was Mortis, right?
Yeah.
Cat and Glacier. Yeah. That was a lot of fun, man. I'm telling you, just the reaction we got because we had so many great spots in that match. It wasn't like we really thought it through, the psychology part of the match. We really put it together where it made sense.
Man, but the way you guys look, man, you guys and Chris Canyon, y'all was scary looking guys, man. I mean, these guys and then they had old Vanderberg.
Vandy. Yeah. He was a good fit also as the manager for our type characters. And that's what they were characters, definitely. Yeah.
You'll never see something like that no more in pro wrestling. I think the reason why it would take so long to get somebody to fill those spots that can live up to those spots, get it over.
To a mark, it almost looked like the game Mortal Kombat came to life to me as somebody that was watching that very thing. That's what it reminded me of, Mortal Kombat. Finish it.
That was the whole idea behind it. And at the time, that was red hot on TV and movies. So that's where it actually came from. But to segue off that a little bit there is that I was actually did the Mortal Kombat TV series.
Oh, wow.
Oh, did you?
Off of that gig, I got. They called me up and I did a couple of those. But that was fun too, man. Because there's always opportunity. When you get this type of exposure.
But what most people may not understand about you, Brian, you had a couple of other gimmicks. Well, they all were successful. They all got over. I don't remember one gimmick that you was in that didn't get over.
I like Chronic pretty good.
Oh man, Chronic was the bomb, man.
I love it.
Now, was that a spinoff? Was that a spinoff of like some herb? I mean, was that the name that came from that?
Well, you would think so. And I've had that question a lot of times. But what we didn't come up with the name. We did like a little contest. I don't know if it was through the magazine. I can't remember how it was done, but we did something to let the fans actually pick that name.
Wow.
Yeah. But what we did, we said, okay, wait a minute. We can use this, but we got to get creative here. Take the first, instead of a C, spell it K. And then the last letter K and spin the K's.
Yeah, make the K's face each other.
That's it.
That was cool.
And so the fans get credit for that name.
Man,
But your finish was the sticky icky.
No, it was the High
Sticky
Times.
of the Ickiest.
No, they called it High Times. So we
High
played right,
Times.
yeah, we played right into the gimmick. We didn't,
It was awesome. It was
we
awesome.
said, okay, whatever it means, but either way, it can mean chronic beating, chronic destruction, chronic
pain.
chronic pain. There you go. Yeah.
Now,
Who
now,
trained
now,
you? Who trained you?
Dwayne Bruce and Jody Hamilton.
Okay, so
at
and
the
this was
the
prior
power
to
plant.
going to the prior
No,
to
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
at the
that
power
was
plant.
as Adam Bomb.
Right. That's what I was saying. After college football, I moved to Atlanta for pro wrestling.
Okay.
And Jody invited me down. And this was before it was ever a power play. It was an old ring and an old carpet warehouse.
So wait a
This
minute.
was
You
the
said
Highway Patrol.
you said hold up, Ray. You said Jody invited you down. So
That
I
is
was
true.
about to ask you, how did you get into WCW? Everybody had to have that door to open to get you in. Who was at that door on the other side of the door that let you in?
Well, actually, the guy that introduced me, and I always say it like this because he introduced me to pro wrestling. His name was Ox Baker.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So that's the guy. When I was playing at Central Missouri State, he lived in a smaller town about a half hour away, and I took it upon myself to go and introduce myself and meet him because I really wanted to get in the business bad, just like everyone else at some point. And so Ox introduced me to the business, but Jody, on an invite while I was finishing up college football at Central Missouri, on an invite from Jody Hamilton, he says, "If you come to Atlanta, I'll train you." And that's all I had to hear. So I was
but Ox Baker is I tell you, he's one of my favorite. That's who I grew up watching. Ox Baker, man. Yeah. This guy right here. And I got to meet him one time. We were doing the autograph signing, and we all sat at this table, and I looked over to a guy, and he looked like he had been sick. He had the little thing on him that was giving him some kind of antibiotic, in his arm. And he was just happened to be there. And I couldn't take it was Ox Baker. And stupid me, I did not ask for a picture because I didn't want to bother him. And man, but this was my favorite wrestler. Him and Ernie Ladd.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever meet Ernie Ladd?
I met Ernie one time, and I also met Bobo Brazil.
Oh man.
And a few other legends, from Ox's era. But I've got some great photos and if you ever want to do an 8x10, if you want one cat just from Ox himself, he always gave me a lot of good stuff. And you'd be
I got one.
Yeah.
I did a virtue.
I got one too, man.
I did a virtue autograph signing with some guys, and they had one in there on the table, so I took it. I said, "Give me that. I'll take that."
Yeah, man.
But let me
he was
ask you
as
this.
believable as any character ever. He was a very believable badass heel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Brian, now let me ask you this, Brian, and I know you probably get asked this all the time. Where did you get your size from? Your mom, your dad, or how big was your parents, man? Because you're a pretty big dude.
Well, my dad was a former Marine, but he wasn't a real big guy. He was, I'd say he's about 5'11", honestly, my dad. Great basketball player, but about 5'11". And my mom was only about 5'7". However, my grandfather was almost 6'6".
Wow. Well, did you check the mailman?
I thought about the mailman. I was thinking possibly he might have stopped by. I checked. I asked my mom that a couple of times. She was like, "No, you get that from your grandfather." So that's what I'm led to believe.
But this right here, I'm gonna tell you guys this too. This is one of the nicest guys right here. He's fun to talk to, but I'm gonna tell you this right here. I thought you was a mean, when you was in WCW, because you did not play. You didn't play with nobody. You stuck to that. He stuck to his character. He was like mean and grumpy.
You gotta live it. Got to live the gimmick. Yeah.
Well, today they not living in gimmick. These guys giving they giving everything away on social media.
Oh, of course.
So
they're gamers. They will sit down and play a game with you.
Oh, he said the key word right there, so I got to bring this up, man. He said gamers. Now, has Cat told you, let the cat out of the bag, so to speak? Has he mentioned to you that he was part of Virtual Basement, the new video game that's coming out?
Well, he told me he did some green screen stuff, but he didn't tell me
I
what
haven't
for.
told him that. Haven't told him that.
I'm dropping bombs on his show.
There
You
you
drop
go.
bombs all the time. I saw the video you made. You hit me in the eye doing the Kevin Nash match.
Wasn't that great?
Boy, that was so funny. I laughed at it. So I had to go back and share that on my page.
Absolutely, man. I thought it was a good buddy of mine in Ireland makes those for me. His name is Jonathan O'Dwyer. Well, I'm thinking about this, Cat, because I got a couple questions I want to ask you. We talk all the time, but I've noticed that you got to do some work with Impact recently, right?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about Santino.
He's fun, man. I mean, talking to him, he's like a nice guy, real nice, quiet, kind of quiet. And, he's like the light on, light off. When the lights turn on, he turned into that character. But behind the character, he just so quiet and just professional.
I have always loved his character, even when he worked.
Me too.
For Vince, I thought it was the funniest thing going. As when he was Santino Marella, and then of course even in Impact, it's still hilarious. But we got a mutual friend in Justin Roberts, so that's how I was going to ask you about him.
Let me ask you this right here: who's your favorite out there right now? Tell me one or two that you really like to watch when you do watch, and where are they? What?
Okay, I'll tell you because I'm Scottish and he's Scottish.
Oh
and
yeah,
he's about 6'5". So I got him on 6'6", but I think Drew McIntyre.
Oh yeah, y'all kind of look alike. That's like
kind of favor.
That's what I say, But I like his style, and he's he's a big athletic guy. Takes care of himself. He's good on the mic. I mean, he's solid. His work is solid. He carried them through that COVID era. 2 years of COVID.
Did not get enough credit,
and didn't get enough credit. And then when they go back live and get the houses back up, they pull the strap off of him. I personally would have liked to see him get at least another run.
How you gonna do what he did to Brock Lesnar, and nobody else has been able to do it, and then do him like that? Creative is horrible sometimes, dude.
Well, I know, I know there's a rhyme and reason behind. There's a million reasons why certain people get pushed and they do not. It varies, but man, I just always liked his style. He just seemed like a really, and I don't know the guy, I don't know him, but he's the one guy that I keep my eye on when the show comes on. Yep.
And who's some more? Who's another one?
Well, I like Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion.
Oh yeah,
he looks to be as tough as advertised. I don't know the guy. I know, but a lot of the European wrestlers are coming on strong in the U.S. If you notice that, it seems that way. Men and women's division.
He reminds you of an old school mat wrestler, no BS in his game. He doesn't have a weakness. He's great on the mic. When they put him in the suit the other week, I mean, he can pull any of that stuff off. I mean, he just seems to be like where they're pushing him to maybe be the guy. I don't know if they're going to ever put the big belt on him, but I think he could probably do it.
And you know what else what that guy has in common with this guy right here?
What's that?
They're both stiff.
They're both stiff. He's very stiff.
They're just alike. They could be twins.
Oh my goodness! Why are you talking about yourself like that?
Well, I'm just trying to spread the love, brother.
Hey, listen. If you could go back and just turn time back a little bit and come up with a perfect gimmick for Bryan Clark, what would it be? Think about what would it be? How would you because you're smart. Let's just get this idea to somebody young, somebody who just starting out. What kind of gimmick would you go with the way things are now?
I think, the way things are now, I think you really have to be as real as, in other words, it has to be an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
Whether say for example, you, Kat, you're a martial artist. Well, that like with you actually transitioned into, even though you were the character of the cat, you were at heart a skilled killer karate guy. I mean, that was you. And with me, I'm I've done some judo, I've done a little bit of kickboxing and then powerlifting. That combination of me just has to be, and you don't have to come up with a silly name. You can use your real name. It's all how you connect with the fans. So as far as a character, I don't know. I think you just got to be yourself, man, as much as you can, and hope that the fans can connect.
And well, I hope that the fans does connect,
Right.
Because I think if you on TV, especially WWE, that
Yeah.
you should be in that position to connect to the fan. But
Yeah.
I was just thinking though, Bryan, with the way things have changed a little bit, how much time we wrestled every night, man. We was on the road going somewhere or doing some kind of promotional thing.
Mhm.
The way these guys get time off now, do you think it hurt them, their development, or do you think it kind of make them last a little longer?
That's a great question. And it's a double edged. I think, like you said, it will probably help prolong their career, but also I think it takes away from being in those house shows and being able to change things in an instant, and the fans will never know any different. But you can work on certain things, whether you're learning to work a body part better. If you say you want to go that night, you want to go 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it is, on a house show, and you can go over on a house show. You don't have to worry about, okay, you got 7 minutes or you got 9 minutes. Hey, in a house show, you can have 29 minutes, provided you're in the right situation with the right agents around the product. But yeah, man, it's like, do I take more time off, but yet I'm not being sharp and crisp, Did he do it again?
He did it again, brother. He did it again.
All right, so I'll go ahead.
You mentioned the armed services.
Yes, sir.
What branch of the services? Were you a Marine as well, like your father?
No, I went into the Air Force, the military police.
Okay, you were an MP with the Air Force.
With the ground.
Where were you stationed?
I stayed in Texas for about 9 months because I went through Air Base Ground Defense Combat Training, M60 Machine Gunner School, and then I went up to the nuclear warheads up in Minot, North Dakota. From there over to Europe with the ground launched cruise missiles.
Wow,
bro! Look at that background of yours, man. That thing is beautiful, man. That thing is beautiful.
My wife did that, bro. My wife did that.
How many of those belts are really yours? Man, that's nice.
I won them all, man. All Japan, 2-time tag team, WCW. Yeah. So now, I'm in the process of buying a new house, and I cannot wait. This is so funny. My wife's wanting to do all these different things to the house. I'm like, okay, but I'm going to see where my office is at because I'm going to build my studio,
Yeah, that's what I did. But let me ask you this, Bryan. Speaking of New Japan, how was it? What's the difference between here in the U.S. and then wrestling in Japan?
Another great question. You've been doing some homework, Kat?
A little bit.
I got him an encyclopedia.
Okay, good. Just get him a hard copy. Man, I was in All Japan and New Japan, All Japan. Those are the two major companies. Again, it goes back to to me, it's like another level of being a pro wrestler as far as the contact side of it being more snug, more stiff, more believable, a lot more false finishes. All those things go into telling a story over in Japan. You don't get those chants like you do in the States where, that was amazing or whatever the hell the chant
This is awesome.
Yeah, you go. Okay. You did a silly bump. Yeah. Japan, you got to earn that shit.
They're very quiet.
Oh yeah, man. They'll give you a little, you just broke your neck, but yeah, good job. You got to work for that pop, man. But I enjoyed it, man. I love the culture. I always had a good time there. And got to travel the country, so I enjoyed it. And I was with Bryan Adams, so I mean that in itself was just a blessing. Absolutely.
How did you?
I was hoping we were going to get to him today.
Sure.
When was the last match you guys had together? When was that?
We won the All Japan straps in I think 02, 03 around that time frame.
And he passed in 03, right?
No, he didn't. He passed in
Oh,
07.
07, that's right.
07,
07.
yeah.
Like
But
two,
yeah,
like 2 months after Benoit, right?
yes, that same time frame. Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole thing. But yeah, we won the All Japan straps, and again, like I said, I was blessed to have Bryan as my partner. I really was. I was so lucky to have him.
Did y'all ever have a name for your tag team?
Chronic.
Chronic.
Was it Chronic?
Yeah, the ones the fans came up with. Yeah, and
Okay.
we roll with it. Yeah.
And what was your name, though?
Oh, we used our real names.
You were Bryan Clark. He was Bryan Adams.
Clark and Bryan
Tag
Adams.
team was Chronic.
Breaking
Big
necks.
Ray.
Cashing
Big Ray. Did you watch wrestling back then?
Yeah, I did.
You did not know that they had Bryan Clark and Bryan Adams?
For some reason, I was thinking in my head that was Bryan Clark's wrestling name was Chronic, along with Adam Bomb and then Wrath. I guess it started as Adam Bomb. I assume that's something Vince created in his head for you to make you that nuclear power guy.
And it's weird because if you think about it, this full circle with me a little bit, because again, I was a military policeman in the Air Force with the ground launch cruise missiles and the nuclear underground.
Yeah, you said that, it kind of dawned on
Yeah, and here I am being Adam Bomb, so I'm like, well, it's not that far of a stretch.
No,
but then Chronic started in WCW, right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Sure did.
So who came to you guys and said, hey, I'm gonna put you two guys together because y'all got the long hair. Y'all two big 6, 7
too good
guys.
looking. Yeah, we were so good looking for starters. They said, man, these guys are so handsome. They're both 6'6", one's 292, one's 300.
Hey, the women did love you. Now we went out a couple of times in that.
Hey,
you did.
I'm trying to get them. Hey, man.
You know what? I got
Don't touch.
the funniest story I've ever heard, and it came from you. You guys went to this cowboy bar up in Marietta. Y'all used to go every Friday or Saturday. You, Canyon, and everybody used to go to this bar. And then they say, you know how you get noticed in places, people recognize you? They said some girl came up to you and said, hey, you look like this guy on WCW. And you said, I am him. Then she was like, oh, no, you're not. Then they say you said, get out of my face. Go ahead, get.
I'm not denying it. I don't know, but
it was so funny. They say you yell at the end when you say, get out of my face. And then girl started to walk away. Then she looked back at you and said, get.
I don't know. I'm not denying it. I don't know.
It was all you. It was you, Chris Canyon, Ray. You know, we just go out together.
Yeah,
what
of course,
was that?
Yeah.
What was it? Cowboys. Cowboys. You know Cowboys. You know.
Yeah, I do. I just don't recall the girl incident, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I know that because I had a place up on Lake Ackworth. There used to be a lake. I guess it's still there, Lake Ackworth, and it was weird. I had Rick Steiner on one neighbor and Scott Steiner as my other neighbor, so I was sort of stuck between the Steiner brothers.
Wow. Now, if you could go back, I still like to talk about the time we started. I knew what you was doing at WCW. And you were able to pick yourself a tag team partner, not the ones you already had, but who would you partner with at that time? Who in the business, who would you say would make an ideal partner with you to be successful?
Wow. That's a good question too. I'm
gonna tell you who I would have liked to see you and Scott Norton together.
Yeah, that would have probably worked.
Yeah, you and Scott Norton. Who else would that?
I'd have to do all the air work.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And how about you and Alex Wright? I can see y'all doing that dance together.
No. Now you and Alex. See,
no.
Yeah.
Don't leave it out. Disco Inferno. I mean, you and
we're trying not to kill the town. We're trying to keep. We put Alex in there. Yeah.
What were they thinking?
I don't know.
Listen, Alex Wright to me was a good talent. He could wrestle his butt off.
He could work.
He could wrestle, but the gimmick was horrible.
Well, but the gimmick, that's a sad thing. But right before they closed up shop, he came out with a gimmick I didn't even know who I'd think about it was him to recognize him. You guys ever see that gimmick he came out with right before they closed shop?
When he shaved his head?
Yeah, it was called Berlin, like in Berlin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, holy cow, wow, it's a damn. I'll tell you who, guy, you just made me think about that. Dale Torborg.
Oh, yeah, I like Dale. I still talk to him every now and then.
Good guy.
You got you
6'5".
Do you have his phone number? Because he gave it to me many times.
I'm sure I do. I can look. Yeah.
Yeah, because I love to have him on here too. That'd be a good guess. Yes.
Absolutely. You know, his dad was a Major League Baseball coach. I think he took him to the World Series. I think he was the Marlins coach. Yeah.
I think that's his job. He's coaching now, doing something with a baseball team.
Yeah, he's down in Florida. I know that because we talked. He reached out to me about an action figure company, or vice versa of that. Let me ask you this, Kat. How about Stan Hansen? How'd you like meeting him on your new movie?
You know what? Meeting Stan was fun. They tell you great stories, man. Him and Shabisco, the legend, man. Just said, I got a picture. All three of us just sitting on the bench, and it was a real picture. It wasn't a picture that we were posing for the camera. It was like I was sitting right in, hearing all these stories about Andre the Giant going to Japan. Man, these were some great stories, man. And that guy is, you had to go back and do a little research before, you can kind of really understand just who this guy was at the time I was talking to him. Great, man. Great wrestler.
Yes, sir.
And just one of the hard-nosed, unbelievable talents, man. I'm a huge fan. I talked to him yesterday.
Oh, did you?
I sure did. Yeah. Yeah.
Where's he living? Where's he living now?
He's
Japan.
in Colorado. No, his wife.
Colorado.
He's in the States in Colorado. Now he may go back and forth, but I know he does have a place in I want to say Colorado Springs. I think that's it. Yeah, but he
was a bad hombre in his day.
Oh man, unbelievable. Yeah. I am.
Now who was that had the hard punch?
That was Ox Baker.
Ox Baker, but also Stan
somebody
Stasiak.
else.
Correct.
Yeah, Stan Stasiak. Yes.
Both of those.
It's Stan Stasiak. Oh, his son wrestled with us, right?
Yeah, man. Come on. You know Sean.
Yeah, Sean wrestled with us, man. He was a good talent too.
Natural Born Thrillers, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those guys, man.
Hey.
You're a sight for sore eyes.
Well, funny you say that. This is where you go to get all-inclusive site work, Resite.
Wait, what?
It's a modern approach.
Well, I like modern approaches, but...
Are you tired of wasting time and money?
Well, yeah, most definitely.
We also have strong relationships with local and national suppliers that help us deliver high quality.
Well, I want a strong relationship. Why do you think I met you here?
Resite offers a comprehensive site work package so you can save time and money.
Well, I'm really confused, but I do like your personality.
Contact us at resite.com. It's RE-SITE.com.
These dating apps are so confusing.
When did you leave WCW? Like, did you go to WWF? Because I remember talking to you
briefly. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go right ahead.
Oh, what you were saying, when we all found out the company was sold and they did the big merger and everything, and so wrestling was pretty much out. And I was one of those guys that already had a contract, so of course I'm not going to give up my contract and go. That was made money that was part of my deal. So we stayed at home at least a year before we decided to do anything. And I personally, I told Bryan, I said, man, I think we should go to Japan now, not wait. And Bryan was really good friends with Taker. And I guess Taker had put in a good word to bring us in there. But it just didn't turn out very well. We were only there for a couple of weeks, but we did sign a 1-year guaranteed contract. So again, we got paid for a whole year. But
I don't understand why that didn't
well,
just a year.
It was a 1 year guaranteed deal, and that which I guess that because at the time they were going with a younger roster, and this was
Yeah.
at the end of our career almost because we had one big run left, which was Japan, which was perfect ending. But when we went there, it seemed like, and and a lot of people say this, and I don't know, it just seemed like we were set up for failure. And what I mean is,
because you were coming from WCW.
from
Hey,
WCW,
Hey, look, I'm raising my hand. That's exactly how I felt when they brought me in and put me in a position I have never been in before. And
Yeah.
then they gave me all these ideas that they were gonna do this with me, just stay here for a little while. But it was like every WCW guy they were bringing in, they were bringing us in to fail. They weren't trying to get us over.
It
You know,
just seemed
so
like Booker T was the only one out of the
well,
bunch.
Booker T, a lot of guys went over there before the merger. Those guys was already in there. So after the merger, everybody that went over, because I stayed home like 2 years because I was still getting paid.
Yep.
So everybody after the merger, they just like, if like out of obligation, we're gonna bring you in, give you a little run, and send you off. Because I was there like 3 years.
What was your gimmick when you came back for the final time?
As Chronic. We came
you
back.
came as Chronic.
We came back. We did one pay-per-view with Kane and Taker.
Okay.
And it just fell apart because there was a couple reasons. And I told them, I suggested, okay, we're in this situation. Put us on the road for a couple of weeks, knock the rust off, get back into our style, everything about us. But instead, we had 1 or 2 TV squash matches, and then right into a pay-per-view, which was just a bad idea.
Bro, but when you guys showed up on the scene, I remember the crowd popped huge. The crowd went crazy. I was sitting at home.
Yeah, they knew who we were. Yeah, absolutely. But then right at that same time, I mean, within a week or so, it seemed like 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
That shook up the world, much less. And I was on that stage that night when we were the first. There was a huge, all the boys and girls, men and women wrestlers were all on the stage that night when Vince went into the ring and cut a promo about being back. The first world event live, I guess, or at least at the States event live since the bombing, or since the attack on New York. And so, it just didn't feel right. That's why I'm so glad that after that, we waited a year, went over to Japan. I actually got to pin the Great Muta for the championship. So, I mean, it was just.
Hey, so did I. I didn't win the championship, but I got him in a pay-per-view. 1, 2, 3.
There you go, man.
And people hated. Hey, and people hated me. They were gonna kill me. I thought somebody was gonna come and get my black ass. They were mad.
In Japan or in the States?
In the States, here in the States.
Oh, okay.
They said, how in the world you guys gonna put him over on the Great Muta? He didn't care, but the crowd and the fans did. Yeah,
he always professional with him. So glad to see he got in the Hall of Fame. I did see that.
Yeah. Yes. I actually talked to him.
Okay, good, man. I know he's pretty banged up and beat up from his career, but he pushed it. He pushed it hard.
And how many years you was in the business?
For me,
wrestling. Yeah, wrestling.
Total about 13. But there were when the first couple of years before when you're breaking in, and I went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling for my first territory, which was Jim Cornette's promotion. My first break was actually through Paul Orndorff. Has put a word in for me at Smoky Mountain with Jim Cornette, and then they brought me in. And Kevin Sullivan was my manager, actually.
What was your gimmick there?
Kevin Sullivan was my manager at Smoky Mountain Wrestling, sure was.
And what was your gimmick there?
I was called the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker.
The dreaded Night Stalker, yeah. But that was a great, as far as the territory, it was like a throwback in time, something from because some of the towns we went to, but they would be sold out.
Oh,
it was just like here, put you in the time machine, go back 1977 or something. It was just crazy, man. Smoke-filled arenas.
So Bryan, let me ask you this: what's the most major injury that you have today that probably happened because you played football before, but that
Yeah.
probably happened while you was in the ring that still
Oh,
kind of pains you today?
wow, man. I like I said, I just went to Colombia. I got 350 million stem cell units, both shoulders, both knees, down my back, in my left bicep. So I mean, I got a lot of injuries, a ton of them, but I stay on them every day. I train daily. There's certain things I have to do, to take care of myself. I do a hot sauna. I do deep cold baths. I do a lot of different things. I train differently, but I try to train smarter and work around the injuries. Man, I've had so many injuries, Kat. I mean, just wow.
I know, man.
Yeah.
I remember the strange injury that I had that really kind of I didn't understand. I didn't know if to go to a doctor, but it was my elbows. For some reason, my elbows hurt so bad, man, that I was like, "What? I've never had pains in my elbow before."
Yeah, that's from all those bumps.
And sitting on planes like this,
Oh,
cause we was on a plane every night, man. And but like I said, man, you looking good. I saw you at one of the meet and greet, and you standing upright. You looking good. I can still tell you still working out. So
yeah.
so what are you doing now?
Like I said, I when I got back from Colombia, that stem cell, I'm about 2 months post-op from those stem cells really kicking in and giving me some benefit. I already feel them already. I'm going to do a little thing here. I said little things, do a big thing with CNN and a whole story about it. But I went down there pretty banged up, and I'm feeling better. I'm training, getting in the gym at least 4 days, 5 days a week if I can.
We might need to send Ray. We might need to send you down there too. You can get you a BBL.
What's that? What about a BLT?
Hey,
I'll take a BLT. I don't know what a BB.
Ask Bryan. He may know.
I know exactly what it is, but you don't want to go get one, do you? Are you sure? Are you thinking about it now?
BBL.
That's what he told me when he was seeing I was down there and I was in Colombia.
Oh yeah.
I was sharing some photos. He was like, "Are you down there getting a BBL?"
You know why? Because I told a lady I'm going down to Colombia to get surgery, and said, what kind of surgery?
Acronym. It ain't BB. Is you talking about big back lady? Is that what you saying?
No, brother.
You're on the right track.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
It's BBW.
Just go down there and ask for a BBL and sit down and wait for the doctor to set it up for you. You'll have fun.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll do that.
Was that whole treatment, man. It was a lot of the boys that went down there.
Nash goes a lot, doesn't he?
Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley. Lot of guys.
I follow Nash on social media, and he does his videos from down there. Once he gets them done, he comes back on and talks about the benefits of the stem cells for him.
Yeah, they interviewed me down there. They have they call it a Hall of Fame wing where you do a entry and then an exit interview, and I did those also, and I'll probably be sharing those coming up here, as the months go by. But yeah, so far, man, like I said, Ray been there, Bobby Lashley, and a lot of MMA guys and girls.
Are these like these stem cells? Are they just what are they for? What do they help to heal you, prevent injury? Just what are these stem cells for?
A little bit of what you just said, a little bit of helping repair, recover. I know some guys have had torn ligaments in their say, for example, their knees, and it helps rejuvenate and build and rebuild the tissues and everything. But they get them from umbilical cords from women. That's what but it is so deep as far as you can sit and watch your actual stem cells being harvested. I could look through the window of the very sterile. It's a sterile, I don't know what's the right correct word for where they harvest the cells and everything. You watch them basically put your stuff
Laboratory.
together. There you go. And so, I was down there 6-7 days, and every day I would go in the morning and I'd be done by the afternoon, depending on what was being injected at the time.
Wow. And
So,
how did you find out about this, that it worked? Through the other guys?
through the other guys, and I did a lot of my research, and one of their main offices is here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And then there's another big one in Dallas, but the treatments are all done in Colombia as far as these guys go. Bio Accelerator is the name of the company. And they have, like I said, everybody Kat, that that you've worked with, there's a lot of guys that have been down there.
Oh yes, I know, man. And I was trying to figure out, like, just why they're going down there. They're going down there to live a better life.
Yes.
Are they going down there to get treated? That's something gonna make them stronger and hope they may get back in the ring.
I know exactly. For me, it's just a quality of life.
Quality of life.
Yeah, absolutely. I could care less about the ring. I just want to be able to go to the gym and have just a decent workout. I'm not the guy trying to push heavyweights or to prove anything. I've been there, done that kind, just like you have. So it's all about quality of life, man. I'm just trying to be as healthy as I can, not be on pain medication. I haven't had a pain pill in 5 years. I just, yeah, absolutely, man. If it's not clean, then I'm not having it. So I'm just I'm aware of what the whole process of how I'm taking care of myself, and it's a routine, man. It's like an old car, man. We're busted up, so we got to take care of it, changing parts.
So what are you doing? What are you doing for a living these days? What do you do?
I've been retired. I have been retired. My wife is the director of nursing at our local Ironwood Cancer Center here in
Awesome.
Phoenix. Yeah, I've been retired for a while, and I do certain things. I do appearances here and there. I don't, maybe one or two, but this year, for example, I did Royal Rumble in London. I was there for 7-8 days. Beautiful trip, great time. We had a Royal Rumble watch party. I got a private tour of Parliament. I had
wow.
They just really took a great care of me, put me in a presidential suite.
Hey, Bryan, let me ask you this. Did you go to Australia with us?
Absolutely.
With WCW? Do you remember what happened to someone? I'm not going to call the name, but if you remember, you can call his name. Hoovy. Hoovy. Do you remember what happened to him?
Absolutely.
Him and who was it? Him and Rey Mysterio. They went out one night. First night we got there, they went to a club.
After that long flight. That was a long flight, man.
Hey, and then when they came back to the hotel, they was like turned up. I mean, they were drunk, hangover. And remember, Hoovy got butt naked right in the middle of the hotel, and they had to call the cops. And he beat up by 3 or 4 cops. You remember that, do you?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Oh, okay, all right. We ain't gonna tell well. That was just a story I made up.
Yeah,
maybe I think that was a dream I had.
It was a dream, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm glad what a segue you just painted that picture, man. This is perfect. Okay. Kat, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I had a dream, man. I had a dream last night, dude. And in my dream, there was you and me and this other guy that you know.
Please tell me we all had our clothes on.
Oh, of course we did. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was just asking.
We were shooting pool, okay, and we were in St. Louis shooting pool, and you know this guy very well, okay? Now, hold on, man.
Oh. So you dreamed about Fred Sanford.
You big dummy.
Hey, boy, y'all love Fred Sanford, boy. Why? How do you and Ray, man, you guys love Fred Sanford. How did you come over? How did you become such a fan for that show?
Man, I was watching him when I was about, I don't know, it started in 73 or something like that. 73, 74, 75.
I don't know how old you are, Brian, but I'm 52. I'll be 53 at the end of this month.
Yeah.
Every day when I got home from school, Three's Company, all that shit. And then Fred Sanford, right before the news, Fred Sanford was on.
Fred was prime time, man.
It was absolutely the best.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it's still, I still watch. If it comes on now, I'll watch it, man. Just classic entertainment, man. No,
Man, hey, he'll get canceled now if he was on TV with some of the stuff he used to say.
Red Fox was dirty.
Do you remember Chico?
absolutely.
How about Roscoe?
Oh man, and
Do you remember Roscoe?
Roscoe. Wait a minute, Roscoe was
He was his son's best friend who
no, you mean
stayed
no, his name was Rollo.
Rollo, yeah,
Oh,
Rollo, yeah,
see,
Rollo.
see, you can't get me.
I know a Rollo, yeah, that was Rollo.
That's right.
The Sanford Arms Hotel. He worked at the Sanford Arms Hotel.
Yeah. You remember?
Oh,
You
man.
remember the time they had to go pick up that piano set when that guy was giving away that piano?
Yeah.
And we have piano, we'll get it.
Made him wear those shoes. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh man, listen, those WCW days, man, was such. I mean, it went by fast, and you didn't know at the time you were developing some of your best friends. You were meeting some of the best people in the world that we were gonna be friends long after WCW, man. But I had a great time, and the thing is, the way I got into wrestling, I didn't have to do the indie shows, so I didn't know what traveling was like on the road. I just know from WCW days where a limo would pick me up, a first class flight to somewhere, straight to a top, straight to the event, then back again home, and that was the business. But you guys did a lot of car driving, small gyms, and just to zone in on who you guys wanted to be once you got to that big level. Now, did it disappoint you when you got there? Was it less or more than what you imagined it would be when you made the big time?
Me personally, I thought, man, it's not what I thought it was, honestly.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
And now, but you got to remember the time frame as far as when I went in, when I signed the big time with WWF/WWE, they were going through the middle of their Vince McMahon steroid trial. So,
wow.
In the states, the business was the crowds were down. It just wasn't fun. I say fun as far as working in front of large crowds. However, we also ran Europe, and we ran the Philippines, Guam, Singapore, all those places. So I was one of those guys that was like on every single loop. I did 10 tours of Europe in 1 year.
Wow.
In 1 year. So I was 2 weeks there, come home for a couple of days, TV taping, gone again. But that side of it, I mean, I was in Rome, I was in Milan, I was in, like I said, every Lisbon, Portugal, you name it, man, everywhere. Germany, sold out. I mean, packed houses, every single show. So that made a big difference. That made me think, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. It's pretty crappy back here in the States, but Europe is popping. So
let me ask you this. I hate to cut you off, but let me ask you this. With all the bookers that we had, and most people, if you guys don't know what a booker is, he's someone who set the show and tell you exactly what you're doing this show, right?
Right.
Who was your number one? Who was the top booker you like to work with? And who was the one you didn't like to work with?
Well, just from actually being a talent and being able to talk to the owner/booker, that kind of thing, I would have to say it would be, and maybe because it was such a smaller company, I would have to say Jim Cornette in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, because Jim helped me so much with the little details, the little things that I didn't know about my character and about, why I was doing something. It's always the why of what, because if you don't know why, then it's not going to make any sense at the finish. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, why you're doing it. I had I think, okay relationship with Vince. It could have been better, yeah. And with Eric, always got along with Eric really well.
Yeah.
He's always been professional with me between negotiations, whether it be contract or whether it be where are we heading with your character.
Oh, okay. So who was
Oh,
the
yeah.
booker? Who was the booker in WCW when you was there? Who were booking
Oh.
the shows?
Well, I mean, we had a combination of people. Honestly, if you remember, they had the booking committee.
Yeah, we had to. You're right. We had to book
On the committee.
yes.
There was. I'm sure everybody had a piece of what they were doing, but there was Kevin Sullivan, and then at one time there was Vince Russo. Later on, but there was Dusty. A lot of other guys. I even think what's the guy out of Tampa? There's a couple guys out of Tampa that
Was
had
J.J. Dillon on that board as well?
JJ was more a lot with Vince, but he could have had later on. He was back and forth. I know that he was part of talent relations. JJ was when I was in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't ever on. He never booked the shows. He was just. I think he had a different position.
Maybe an ID guy.
I think he had a Eric Bischoff kind of position when he was there with Vince Russo, where he actually took care of legals. Yes.
Yep. Definitely in the office, so for sure, yeah. I think it was. I think it was a group booking.
Did you ever work with Dusty? Was Dusty ever your booker for you?
Not, specifically. Not that I don't. Maybe he has a lot of ideas and things that were certain, like for example, Wrath and Mortis. He was there during that time frame. I don't know. I can't say if he did or did not. He may have had some input on some things. It's very possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's hard, when it's a committee, it's hard to tell who's pushing the idea. Yeah.
Well, they said Nash had to book for a while there in WCW. Was he a booker?
I think he may have at one time.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was the top booker.
Okay, that's what I said.
Remember he booked himself to beat Goldberg.
That's the rumor. I don't know.
No, that's not the rumor.
Well, you would know. I was there too, but I don't know what happened in the.
I'll tell him if he were right here. I'll be like, listen here. As soon as you got the book, what the first thing you did? You beat the only undefeated fighter in there. You was the first one to beat Goldberg. He can't say nothing but yes. What he gonna do? He can't beat me.
That's right. He can't beat you.
Yeah, he can't beat me, man.
Right,
But he was fun too. But him booking shows, it was fun. It was kind of shootout. Everything was
use
like
a cattle prod though. They had to use a cattle prod to get Goldberg.
Well, I mean that.
Hey, do you remember those Georgia Dome shows? You remember those, Cat?
Oh my goodness, do I remember those?
I know
Man, but do you remember that? Listen, you talking about house shows.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what a house show would look like for us during that time? I mean, not 100 people, not two. If we talking about a small arena that sold completely out hours before. Remember, you go into the city and you see this long line of people just waiting to get in.
Yeah.
They were, I think our house shows were packed more than some of the shows are today at AEW.
Yeah. Yeah. We would have, like, for example, I remember us working, it was called the RCA Dome in St. Louis. And that's where the St. Louis Rams played. They put in 60,000, easily 60,000 in some of those shows. It was just unbelievable how red hot it was. But it was such a rush to be a part of it. It really was. I mean, because Nitro was everywhere, man.
Absolutely. Oh, Nitro, yes. What was your favorite part of Nitro?
Wrath, me being in it. What you think? No, man.
I would say the Nitro girls, the dancers. That's what
that's your thing. Ain't nobody care about the Nitro girl. You know how many women was around, bro? Come on now. Stop being a mark.
Zero.
Nitro girl.
That didn't get over, man. Come on.
No, they were taking up TV time.
Thank you. You could have went to one of the strip clubs in Atlanta and did a lot better.
Yeah.
And we did.
Which one? Gold Club?
Key to 3 on Spring Street.
Yeah, Gold Club. I remember the Gold Club. God, I can't remember all the.
Key to 3.
That it?
Ray, listen, I want you to talk. We ain't going to keep you much longer, Brian, but Ray, you a fan. Here, you got a time, you got a chance now to speak directly to a
Man,
superstar.
we've already chopped it up, bro. We done
You
got
ain't
all our
dog,
questions out.
don't
You
be
done ducked
shy.
out on this damn interview twice on us.
Don't be shy. Go ahead and talk to this superstar. You're a fan. Stop trying to act like you're not a fan. Go ahead and talk to
We
him.
all fans. He's a fan. That's why he got
Now
into the
that
business.
hold up. That dude is not a fan. He's a legend. How in the hell you gonna call him a legend? How the hell you gonna call? I mean, how the hell you gonna call a legend a fan? If it wasn't for him in the time he spent doing what he
Are
was
you
doing,
telling me that
it
Roger
wouldn't be.
Staubach ain't a fan of
Hold up.
football?
First of all, don't interrupt when I talk to this guy right here. This guy right here is a legend. This guy put the time in to make that gap reach to what wrestling could still be a part of wrestling, what it is today. This is a legend. So don't call a legend. You bring up Roger Staubach. No, he wasn't a fan. He's a legend.
But he's also a fan of the
He ain't
sport
no.
that he
How the
plays.
hell he gonna be a fan?
Cat, you a fan?
I'm not a fan of wrestling. I don't even watch wrestling, but I did
Come
my
on,
time.
man.
I did my time. I did my time, and I did the best I could be to keep things moving forward.
Well,
So now,
yes, I am a fan. I've
now
always
know
been a
you.
fan. I'm
Now,
always going to be a
no,
fan.
that's right. Know your plays and talk to the legend.
Bryan, it was great having you on the Cat's Corner today.
He ain't going.
We
He ain't
learned a
going
lot.
nowhere. He ain't
We
going
learned a
nowhere.
lot
I didn't.
about it.
Hey, I didn't say end it. I said talk to him. Ask the man some questions. Ask this man his shoe size. Ask him, what he ate for dinner to get big and muscled up like that. Go ahead. Come on, Ray.
You weren't out here. When you left the show, I asked
I
all the
wasn't
questions
gone,
I
brother.
needed to.
I wasn't gone but a couple of seconds. Don't even say that. Somebody called in and the thing switched off. Come on now. Don't be afraid.
I got you.
Hey,
Well, Bryan,
I'm listening.
Cat's trying to screw with me right now because
I can tell that.
he thinks I'm a freaking mark. And
so he's trying to set you up for failure is what he's trying to do.
What he's trying to do, but it's not going to work.
Man. Yeah.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Who was your favorite manager that you had?
Oh, wow. I didn't really have any really good ones. I'd have to say,
you mentioned the Prince of Darkness himself, Kevin.
I would have to say Vandenberg for that.
Me too.
That character, yeah, absolutely.
Nah,
But I mean, I had Harvey Whippleman, I had Johnny Polo, blah blah blah. But I would say
Johnny
Vandenberg,
Polo was Raven, yeah. And when you called the other guy, wasn't he the Sinister Minister?
Vandenberg was the best choice for us. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah,
Vandenberg. Hey, give us a Vandenberg story. One story.
Oh man.
How about the Chris Canyon story with Vandenberg?
there were so many. Those two. I mean, I couldn't travel with them. I couldn't do it. I had to travel by myself because I mean, and Vandenberg will tell you this as well as anybody. Man, they used to argue so much. Like two old ladies at the shopping center or something, just going at it, man.
But they were best friends, right?
Yeah, they were. But
they lived together. Yeah.
Yeah. I just said, look, man, nothing personal, but I can't deal. I don't need this stress, man. I'm gonna ride with somebody, whoever I ride, I would hook up with somebody else. I couldn't handle it. I go by myself if I had to.
Who was your favorite riding partner when you were traveling the roads?
Oh man. A lot of times with Billy Gunn up in New York. A lot of time with PCO.
Okay, PCO.
Yep, PCO. Yep, a lot of time with him.
He's still doing it at a high level.
Oh yeah, amazing. Yeah, I traveled a lot of different guys, man. That's the way it was in New York. When you get to the airport and you just sort of see who lands. It was, you didn't have all the internet access connections of, it was more difficult to travel.
Were you and Mark Calloway or the Undertaker, were y'all friends?
Oh yeah, I got along with him fine, man. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, man, I've been in so many damn caskets. I mean, I would do casket matches with him internationally, U.S. and international, all over the world. And I remember getting the big finish and boom, and then rolled into the casket and they closed the lid and pushed me in the back. I'd be in that casket for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes sometimes. Just depends on, how long.
Could you breathe in there? Could you breathe?
Yeah, a little bit, but I didn't, when I got in there, I knew just to relax.
Right.
Now, Brian, who was the biggest name wrestler other than the Undertaker that you enjoyed working with? Big name that everybody at home recognizes.
Bret Hart.
Oh,
Bret Hart,
wow.
Macho Man Randy Savage, both of those guys.
Yeah, dig it.
Love working with Randy, love working with Bret. Main evented with both of those guys all over. Like I said, with Taker, we were on tours together. That's the way it worked back in with Vince territories, that you'd get into a program with somebody and you would work that guy for 30, 40, 50 days to just all over the world. And so, yeah, but those I've been in the ring, honestly, with just about, I can't think of anybody. Hogan is the only one I've not. I mean, I'm sure there's a few for my era, I should say, I guess.
Yeah, I got to work with Hogan.
Yes.
But you know who I worked with when I went to WWE was John Cena. That's who we ran our thing with, John Cena, the whole time when they were gonna put me in the ring. And I'm gonna tell you this story right here. John Cena was just coming up. He was a white guy who would grab the mic and yo, say his little thing.
Right.
But when I first got up, that we were doing a dark match, not a dark match, we were doing a house show. And I remember it was a spot where I come out and saved John Cena. And boom, I slid in the ring. John Cena got the mic at the end and he said, yo. And the crowd was like cheering a little bit. But soon he reached to give me the mic and I reached for the mic, the crowd blew up. Yeah, because they knew what they were going to get. As soon as I got the mic, the referee reached over to me and leaned in my ear. He said, hey, the booker said, put the mic back down. Said, put the mic down. Said, yeah, give the mic back to John. That's when they were getting John ready. They was not going to do anything with us. They was not going to do anything with the crowd popped. Hey, the crowd popped loud when I reached for the mic to get the mic. They popped. But then soon I got in my hand and they were saying, cat. I hold the mic in my hand, just to hear that, just to let it sink in. Soon I got ready to say something. The referee leaned over. He said, hey, I think it was Arn Anderson. Maybe whoever the booker was, they said, hey, give the mic back to John Cena.
Wow. Yeah, see that right there. Little things tell you what the big picture is. I absolutely understand that whole story right there.
Oh, yeah.
I had it happen to me.
Where about?
Well, just like what you just said, but with like when we went back up to work for Vince.
Oh.
They put us, and I like this guy. He's a good guy, but it didn't fit with us. They put Steven Richards with us as a manager.
Well, yep.
And Brian, and I like Steven. He's a really sweetheart of a guy, just a great guy, actually. But I remember Brian Adams looking at me and he says, "That's a bad sign." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Steven Richards, our manager, said this is not good." I said, "I told you we should have went to Japan." And eventually we did.
But they knew Vince doing that change over when he took over. He said, "I'm gonna invite anybody here in WCW who want to come to WWE. You're welcome. Come." Right. Yep. And he said, if your name was on the list, you got in. Mm-hmm. But if your name was not on that list, they did not want you at all. So my name was Johnny. Johnny H just happened to call me and say, "Hey, Cat, they want you to come up here and do a dark match." Mm-hmm. And then I was like, they know who I am. If they want to hire me, why don't they hire me? He said, "Well, Vince don't know who you are." Oh, so yeah. So that what John A said. So soon I got up there, did my dark match. Vince, let me tell you something, man. Vince was the nicest guy throughout the whole time I was there. He invited me on this plane, invited me into his office. He'll walk down the hall, come to work, and we could be standing in the hall right before the show starts. He'll come up to me every time, "Hey, Cat, how you doing?" He's like, I'm a fan of yours. So one day, me and a couple of guys were standing out. The show was going on. We were getting ready to go on. And Vince walked up the hall. He came in. He walked up the hall with his little cronies. I forgot who those guys was, but he had 2 or 3 are with him. And he saw me. He came up to me and shook my hand and said, "Hey, Cat, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing great." How you doing, sir?" He said, "I'm doing just great." Then he walked through, and then I looked at Chris Canyon, who was standing next to me. Rest in peace, Chris.
Right.
Chris looked at me and said, "I've been here 3 years," and he had never said hello to me like that. You know, Chris was a bitter kind of guy. You know that, right?
Woo. I used to rib Canyon. I said, "Man, it's a good thing they got you under a mask." Yeah, we used to always get him. Hey, I'll tell you this. I'll let you guys go with this one. But Kat, do you remember when we went to you? Go remember this now. This is great. Just get this visualization, okay? Get this in your head now. You remember we used to go over to AFX Studios and get all that gear made?
Yeah.
You remember that
with Andre?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, but do you remember that statue they made at Canyon of his head?
Yeah.
You remember? We all had to have these head molds made, and Canyons came out. We were like, "Oh my!" his head was all because they make you bald, you know. And his head had a lump all in it, man. We're like, "What the hell?"
Man, that was the ugliest head I've ever seen. Boy,
I told him, I told him, I said, "Did your mom drop you as a baby? What the hell happened there?"
Hey man, listen, on that note, listen, Bryan, we want to have you back, man, but we want to have more to talk to you about. We just wanted to fill you out and let the people who gonna watch this see questions, what they want to ask you and what they want to hear you talk about.
Sure, man. I got a ton of stuff coming up, man. Like I said, a lot of good stuff. I'm going to kick off the Adam Bombcast, and we're going to start going live down the road probably after the first of the year.
Wow.
We're in the middle of like buying a new property, and I cannot wait, like I said, to build my home studio. So got a lot of big plans this coming year, a lot of obligations. I just agreed to a big show up in Montreal, Canada for a meet and greet. And so just, keeping myself busy, man. That's the biggest thing I got going on right now. But it's a lot of stuff in line. It seems like keeping me busy.
Well, good. Well, it's a pleasure getting to know you today, and we appreciate you coming on to Cat's Corner, and we wish you the best of luck in the future.
I appreciate it, Cat. Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Got it, brother.